Hey, hello friends, and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another live session of our channel where we connect together with our audience and look forward to assist them as much as possible with their queries and look forward to give them assistance in terms of learning about testing, be it about certifications, concepts of software testing, and as usual, we listen forward to you in order to suggest you with what you can look forward to make your career more stronger. And especially this channel is all about giving you the comfort of understanding the concepts of ISTQB certifications. So we look forward to give you that additional support beyond the videos where we listen to your queries and give you a platform where you can come and go ahead and ask your questions and look forward to answer them. So welcome aboard, greetings for the day everyone, and we'll be looking forward to continue with our live session as usual. Kind of like just I didn't keep up the time and got started a bit earlier, but not a problem. We'll be happy to cater you for another 1 hour for sure. And do feel happy if you have any things to share about your results and examination. And yeah, I think I'll be waiting for some questions to come up. Meanwhile, I've continued preparing our AI tester certification playlist. So as you can see, there are new videos being added, and every day we'll be looking forward to add. Some days I'm very, very occupied. In fact, I don't have enough time to take rest. Thus, I may not be able to create videos. But yes, alternative, at least you will be looking forward to have this playlist being built up. And we'll be looking forward to cater you as much as possible when it comes to our the fundamentals of AI tester certification, and we are just trying to make sure that you learn different certifications and have different certifications in your portfolio, which is the most important thing. So Joe is here saying hi. Hey Joe, welcome aboard. And yeah, that's one thing which we are talking about, that is AI tester. And parallelly, I've also started working on some of the sample papers, which again can be published by this month end. And keep following up on the blogspot, which I have, where I publish my sample papers for all of you. And you can look forward to gain more insights and sample papers from there. Other than that, yes, I will be resuming. I had a lot of comments coming from many people that, hey, what happened to your technical talks where we were doing a lot of discussions on testing related concepts, and it's been just gone for a pause because of a lot of commitments. In fact, I'm having a lot of trainings these days, and it's been just like fully occupied, so I do not get enough time to uh, come up with a video, record the video, edit the video, and upload it here. Though there is not much editing, because if you had observed, I do all my recordings in a single shot. But point is, recording needs peace of mind, because I just can't talk rubbish here on the platform where so many people are expecting something meaningful from me. So all we need is a kind of like peace of mind to talk about some good content. And yes, I can for now say that I can resume it quite early, as early as like next week. But again, depends that how well I will be available in order to do that. But yes, I'm promising you I'll be getting back soon with respect to our technical talks as well, and giving you more and more knowledge from the perspective of testing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much as an update from my side. But yeah, we will have anything else, then it will be published on our community page. Do not forget to follow the page in order to get latest updates from me. And also, meanwhile, as we get some questions, just wanted to highlight that I've also started, building up my own content in terms of, working on work-life balance. So I've recently started another channel where I'm kind of like doing something extraordinary beyond my day-to-day work. It's just that the fact is, it generally does not help you to kind of like have that comfort of relaxing. So generally, we techies are always busy doing the work, and we hardly get some time for ourselves. And there is always a passion that what exactly someone would prefer to do as a part of their life, right? It just adds relaxation to your mind, which helps you to go back to work once again. And that's what the most important thing here is. And I also was getting quite occupied. In fact, I mentioned earlier as well that I'm so occupied that I sometimes work 20 hours a day. And that's really, really difficult to even say it out here, that how can somebody work 20 hours a day? And answer is yes, I'm working because a lot of people are looking forward to me in terms of their training demands and consultation and project wise work. So in that context, I was so occupied that I was completely fed up and just wanted to take some time out for myself. And that's where I started looking forward to do something what I loved, and that is writing. So I started writing. Of course, took some time out. Went up very early mornings to sit down on a top of a hill and relax for some time. So I thought, why not to share these moments and motivate you as well, because I just started recording these things and these events on my channel. And that is what is right now here on the chat. So I've just published the link to my channel. If in case anyone wishes to follow such things, feel free to do that. And it's not at all a mandatory, but it's just that if you would love to understand more about your work life balance, you can certainly look forward to understand more from here. And it will give you an opportunity to understand that, yes, it is very, very important that you should have peace of mind at some point of time where you can get back to your work with similar energy as you get back on Friday evening. So that is what we will be looking forward to address and support all of you. So it's a Saturday again, and I think the crowd is very less. So I'm not sure how far we will be making it, but still, as committed, I'm here. But we'll be looking forward to assist you as much as possible with your queries. So let's hear from audience if they have any questions, as this session is exclusively to attend your queries and questions whatsoever you may have regarding testing, and look forward to answer that. So feel free and let me know if you have any questions. I would be more than happy to answer those queries and assist you in terms of what exactly does it take to be a test engineer, and at the same time, if you have something more to learn about ISTQB certification. So feel free and drop your queries. I'll be more than happy to uh, talk about it and revert you back with your queries, whatever you may have. Okay, so yeah, I hardly see any people. It's a Saturday evening. I understand, but we connect every Saturday, so that's the only time which we have for all of you. But soon I'll be looking forward to transform this to weekday if I see not much response on the Saturday evening, because I do understand you get one weekend and you may have a lot of other commitments to take care of. So feel free and let me know if you have got any queries, team. And in case there are not a lot of queries, we will wait for some time and we may look forward to terminate this session. But again, this session is exclusively to listen to you. So I don't have any agenda, I don't have any topic. I just want to give 1 hour of my time in a week that is dedicated to all the audience of my channel, and where I can listen to their queries and respond back to their queries to help them learn about it. Okay, we got SM here. SM says hi, so hey SM, how's it going, bro? You got something? Just let me know. Yep. We are looking forward to hear from you, all of you. If you have got any questions, this session is exclusively for you to get your queries resolved, no matter what the concern is about, be it about certification, be it about the concepts of software testing, or be it about career being a test engineer. I'm more than happy to answer any of those questions. Just feel free to drop them here and we'll be looking forward to talk about it. Go ahead. And there's nothing called as, a silly question or stupid question. We cater any type of question. So there's nothing to worry about. Just drop it here. Okay. Whatever you may have, which you want me to talk about and answer, I would be more than happy to look forward to it and respond back. So waiting for your queries. Go ahead and drop your queries, whatsoever you may have. I would be more than happy to talk about it. Okay, here comes the first one. Hi, sir. Need to ask where to study about design. I'm unable to ask good question during review. Can you please guide? Where to study about design? I think it's more of like understanding the architecture of the product. So you will find the details about the design of a particular platform or a particular language, what you are trying to build on. So the base, right, the platform on which your product is getting built. For example, if you talk about HTML or you talk about databases, you talk about APIs, then all you need to know exactly is how API works, right? And similarly, if I'm talking about a cloud platform like SAP or Azure or AWS or Salesforce, you need to understand what is the design of the Salesforces. So my point of telling that statement here is that you'll find the documentation relevant to that platform in the platform itself. Okay, what exactly is the architecture of it and how does it work? How does it function? What are the capabilities? What are not capabilities? And it's not that it's going to be something like a course which you did probably for a programming, or you would have done it for a testing course or something, or learning Selenium, or they do have a fixed content. But when it comes to design, there is no end to it. In fact, there is no outline for it. So it's more about the amount of experience, the number of years you spend on that platform, the better your understanding about design will be. And it certainly doesn't have a course, doesn't have a Udemy curriculum, or kind of like dedicated training which you can learn. It's more about the deeper dive you have about the product, the better you understand the architecture of it, because that's how the platform works, right? So databases, APIs, these are some examples, and the cloud applications which I'm talking about. And API testing, if you really want to understand the architecture of APIs, that how exactly a post, get, put method work. So then you need to understand the architecture of applications, like what exactly and interfaces between the applications are, how does it communicate between two applications. So that would come from the platform itself, or kind of like take up from that perspective that okay, I want to understand how does an API work. And that would be like collective knowledge. It may not be a single course anywhere. People will talk about how Postman works, but nobody will talk about how does an API work with practical. So in that context, you may have to collect knowledge from different segments, different platforms, and put them together in a way that makes more sense to you. Okay. So summary is you do not have any courses for it. There is no URL to learn about that. It's more about deep diving into the platform itself to understand how the design works for this. I hope that answers your question. And do let me know if you have any other questions. We have another one from Geeta. Geeta says, I have questions regarding statement coverage. I have watched your video on statement coverage, but I have question like how to calculate statement coverage for an unnested loop. Okay. So if you say statement coverage, right? Uh, there are two things, okay? One, finding minimum test cases for 100% statement coverage. And second is, what is the statement coverage? So if you have watched my video on statement testing, I've covered both. Initially, I've given examples for statement, finding minimum number of test cases for 100% statement coverage. And last, I have given one example, how to calculate the statement coverage itself. So if you are saying unnested, what I understand is you're talking about the previous thing. So in the statement testing, I basically find out the minimum number of test cases with wherever the statements are there. So if you're talking about unnested conditions, right? Unnested loop. That means if starts, closes, then the second if starts and closes. This is what we mean by unnested, right? So in unnested, if you have statement in the true path, then you just need one test to cover everything, correct? But if you have any one, say, statement in the else path, even one of that, then you will need the outer path also to be considered. So in any case, in unnested loop, your statement coverage will be either 1 or 2. 1 when you have only true statements, 2 when you have even single else statement. I hope that makes sense. If in case you didn't understand yet, please let me know. I'll guide you further. Or you may just, with this intention, with this given explanation, you can go and watch the video again and it'll make sense to you, right? Anyways, just let me know what do you think about it. I'll look forward to add more value. Okay, meanwhile, another question coming from Huck. Hi Neeraj, thank you very much for your great content and setting up this session. What is the future of testing? What's your opinion about AI, which is MLDLRL, and will it take over the traditional testing? Um, okay, no. First of all, one of most important thing is the future of testing is automation. Okay, so no matter what you talk about, how you talk about, the thing is all about that. What is automation? And the more we will be having automation compared to manual. So if in case you are in manual, I would suggest you to step into automation part and look forward to upgrade yourself. And in case you are already an automation tester, you look forward to add more value by adding more automation tools to your knowledge rather than just sticking to one particular tool or one particular automation concept. The second thing will be, what's your opinion on AI? Will it take over the traditional testing? There's a long time to go for that. Okay, currently AI does not have such capabilities that it can go ahead and test, right? Because a human mind, what I believe on a personal note, a human mind cannot be replaced by robots, right? The perception what we have, a robot cannot do that. Why I'm saying so? Let me justify all my statements, of course, as usual. The reason I'm saying is a robot only does what we instruct to do. For example, if I ask you that, hey, go to that shop, get me a pen. Okay. Now you go to the shop. What if the shop is closed? You don't have any instructions with you. What will you do? You will just come back home, no matter how long the distance was. You come back home and tell me, I said, where's my pen? You said the shop was closed. And I was like, stupid, you could have gone to another shop, right? I wanted a pen. That was the agenda. No, you never told me what to do next. That is robot. But human mind, if I send you as a human that, hey, Huck, go ahead and get me a pen, go to the shop and get me a pen. If you go to any shop which is closed, you will slightly move to the next shop and ask them, do you have a pen? Because you know the importance. Why are you here? Correct? So the point here is, first of all, automation is in its own place, but a human intervention to test or instruct a robot will never end. Correct? Someone has to instruct. And when we talk about AI, where AI is talking about self-learning AIs and pre-feeded data and all, which is making decision, they are currently good for chatbots, just like Siri, Alexa, Google Home. Okay, they're just good at that point right now, that they have been fed with some great amount of data. All you go is just ask Google, hey Google, where is some shops near me, or where to fill the petrol near me, and all that. Correct? Or you can ask them sort of questions which you want to get answered. It's just like an encyclopedia in a digital form, right? Currently, we do not have super AIs, which means that they can make decisions on their own. So in that context, it's long time to go when AI can even think about testing a system. And currently, you don't have to be worried about that whether AI will take over human testers or not. That's not the context at all. AI is just capable of doing some chatbot kinds of thing today and having some pre-feeded data which they are returning when you ask them. And examples are Siri, Alexa. That's it. Okay. And you know, Siri, Alexa cannot create anything of their own. They cannot test a system. They can only answer your questions by searching internet or searching pool of data. So in that context, I'm of the opinion it is not going to take over any kind of testing as of now, at least down the line for 5 years for sure. Okay, after 5 years, what is the thing that we will understand later? But currently, at least for 5 years, there is no AI in testing. Okay, yeah, you can test AI products, okay, using automation tools, so chat GPT and all, and concepts which you can think about, but no, it's not going to go and take over the human testers, even if it is automation. Okay, so I hope that answers your questions. Let me know if you have anything else. I'll be happy to assist. Geeta says, thank you for your explanation, but I have a doubt. Like if there are more than one else statement in the code, then also statement coverage will be 2. Yes, of course. The reason is one will go straight down and second will go outside. Okay. Second will go exactly outside. So my laptop detected some gesture. So it's turning it up. Just give me a moment. Okay. I didn't know. I just bought a laptop. So there are some gestures which I'd find. Anyway, so point here is that one will be going straight in the true path and both will have, even if one, if condition has an else, then it will just go outside, only outside. And that will be the second test. So yes, in any case, maximum it will be 2. So if you have even one else statement in the code, then the statement coverage will be 2. Okay. SM says, what are some challenges you face in software testing and how do you overcome them? Yeah, this guy always comes up with some crazy questions and I really love answering them. What are some challenges you have faced in software testing and how do you overcome them? And that's a very interesting question. I think I have to deep dive in all my 13, 14 years of experience and talk about it because there are several examples. There are a lot of things which I can talk about the challenges in testing. And we have kind of like tried dealing with it and can have improved a lot. So of course I cannot talk about every single example here. Let me take you through one of the example which I was talking in one of my sessions today itself, and we were talking about how exactly to tackle late testing in Agile, right? And there I was asked one of the question from a Scrum Master that Neeraj, we are creating a story in the Agile, like in a sprint, and that story goes from designer to developer, then developer to QA, and by the time it comes to QA, QAs are complaining me that we get it on the day 9 or day 10, and we hardly have time to test everything. So that was one of the challenge for the QA again, that they don't get enough time, and that was very generic. I think most of the organization face this challenge, and to certain extent, we even feel that we do not have any solution to it. Right? Nothing can be done about it. People will take their own time, and QA has to suffer all the way. So I came up with a solution there and just tried explaining him that is there a need that you have to create a single story? Okay, they said, yeah, that's what the Scrum says, right? You have to create a single story which says about it. And anyhow, what does single story has to do with it? I said, let me tell you a very complete explanation about how a multiple story can take you away from here. The problem what you're facing here is that the common story has a common estimate where developer, designer, QA, all three are together giving you an estimate. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Now, when it gets delayed, nobody is ready to accept the delay because it's all a single story and you can't figure out even that who took longer, because at the end of the day, it will be on the Q&A and you don't have time and patience to go and manually calculate the timestamps that who took what number of time. And moreover, you had a combined estimate, so nobody can say that this was design estimate, so I got delayed, okay, or this was development estimate, so I got delayed, and this was QA estimate, so I got it now, right? So it's just like a combined approach, so you don't have bifurcation of that. So I told him just one thing, that break your single story into three story and give it to the three guys independently. That's it. And ask them to estimate their respective stories independently. For example, if you were giving me 13 points to one story, now give me 8, 5, and 2. Okay? 8, 5, and 2. So it will just make out approximately the same thing, but you will have independent story for every individual in your team. Designer will have his dedicated story with 8 points, development will have its dedicated story with 5 points, and QA will have its story with the 2 points. Now, if designer gets delayed, I don't have to talk to anyone. I can upfront go and talk to him that, hey, you sent me 8 points. It's day 7. Where is your story? My development is blocked. And then I don't have to mess up with the team at all that who did what. So in that context, we could very well track individual. And again, I'm not going beyond Scrum, because if Scrum is not going to come and solve your problem, then there are no ethics which we generally follow. Scrum is a body like Scrum Alliance, which has defined certain things and never bothered how does it impact people. or how does it not solve all the purposes? So there's no point following some organizations very blindly. And moreover, Agile says you are flexible, correct? The word Agile means flexibility. So you are free to drive the show the way it fits your purpose, right? So in that context, I think I have the freedom to manage my Scrum according to me, because Scrum doesn't have any time to solve my problem. So I am free to solve my problem myself. That's just by doing the bifurcation. Now it will be very clear who is playing around. I'll be able to talk to an individual upfront and tell him, because of you, my QA will suffer now. And let's have the blame on the right person, not blindly on the QA. Okay. So I think that's one of the experience which I thought I'll share to your question, SM. If you have anything else you want me to talk about, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to talk about that too. Okay. Meanwhile, let me pick up another one. To what extent should I learn algorithm in order to secure a normal QA job? Um, Gabe, I'm not sure what algorithms are you referring to. In order to be a QA, if you're referring to the programming and algorithm point of view from there, like from a development point of view, I think it's not that mandatory, but it is good to have. Okay, it's not a must-have feature that or must-have a skill for a tester. As far as you know how to test a system, as far as you know how the system works, how does it function, that is more than enough. You don't have to evaluate a developer. Don't forget that. Okay, if you have to do something as a QA, that is to evaluate the product and its quality. So I'm not worried about what this guy is writing. I'm only worried about what is my requirement, and all I have to do is meet the requirement. If the requirement doesn't meet, that's not my headache. I'll just report a defect and let the developer deals with it, right? So it's good to have. If you know better about programming or algorithms, whatever you're meaning here, then it is always good, because you can even understand what the developers are trying to do, or sometimes you can even participate in the code reviews and contribute your participation there, or contribute your points, perceptions, etc. But if you really don't have any knowledge, that's not a problem at all. It's not a criteria to get hired as a QA. Nobody will ask you, can you write a Java code or something? Yeah, only if you are showcasing that you have an automation skill, and more importantly, the hiring is also for automation tester, then they will ask you to write automation scripts. Okay, so in that context, again, algorithm does not play any specific role. But yeah, understanding the architecture of the system, architecture of the platform which you're going to test, that totally makes sense. For example, when you say I'm an Azure tester, or I'm an AWS tester, or I'm a Salesforce tester, then there is no difference between a developer and a tester. In that case, both of them should know everything about Salesforce. How does it work? How does it get configured? What exactly we need to do in order to create a sale or create a lead, create an opportunity. So it depends on the cloud again, right? Which cloud you're talking about: Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Communication Cloud, whatnot. So point is, yes, knowing about your product and platform is only your criteria. Other than that, you don't really have to learn programming like a developer. Okay, if you know, it's good, but it's not a must have, which is mandatory for the QA. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have anything else. Geeta says, okay, thank you so much, sir. I have my ISTQ exam tomorrow. It will be helpful for me. All the very best, Geeta. And do let us know about your results. I'll be waiting. And thank you so much for participating here. Let's look forward to hear again from SM. SM says, talking about severity and priority, how do you explain an image with wrong name? Example, picture of an apple with name of orange in the application. Severity and priority, right? It's a very common thing to understand the difference between severity and priority, which I don't know if few organizations are making misuse of that, or they don't know exactly how to use it. Number one thing here is that severity is our headache or our cup of tea. When we find a problem, we know that this problem is going to impact users in what extent, correct? For example, if I have a payment gateway, right? Or I'm trying to make an online transaction, and the bank sends me a one time password to complete the transaction, and that one time password does not come on my cell phone or registered mobile number or email ID to complete the transaction, then it's a defect. correct? Now, as a tester, I know what kind of impact this defect has on a user action. That means the person will not be able to transfer money as the one-time password has not been received, right? And there's also a timeout for making a payment. It could be around 10 minutes or something. So within 10 minutes, if OTP one-time password is not received, then this is very, very critical for me to make a transfer on a page or an application where the whole thing is all about making a transfer. So when it comes to banking, it is a critical, which means high severity. If I'm rating on 3 scale severity, high, medium, low, then your severity is very high for this example. So similarly, you'll go on raising different defects with high priorities, okay, or medium priority and so on. Now, when it goes to the developer will see his dashboard with 4 defects with high priority, 3 defects with medium severity, and few defects with low severity also. Now the question is, the developer wants to know, okay, if I have 4 severe defects with high severity, which one I'll be fixing first? So generally developer respond back to you with a sequence using priority that, okay, defect ID 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all high severity, but in that I can fix any one at a time, right? I cannot fix all 4 at a time. So I'll give you the priority. Okay, second one is P1, first one is P2, third is P4, and fourth is P3. That means P1 is second one. That means I'll be fixing second defect first, and then I'll be fixing the first one, and then I'll be fixing the third one, and so on. So that's the difference between severity and priority. Priority is just a discriminator between same level of severity. Okay, discriminator between same level of severity. And now coming back to your example, as you said, picture of apple with the name of orange. Okay, I think it's going to be a high depending on the type of application. If it is a kind of like, it's a AI based system, then it's a very critical defect because AI is not able to produce the right name for the picture according to it. Then it's a critical defect. But if it is just for fun, okay, like it might be a match the following thing, so it must have wrong name, so this is not a defect also. So it certainly goes with your understanding that what kind of product are you dealing with. For example, if I have a company website and the logo is wrong or logo is not appearing, then also it is considered as a minor defect. Why? Because logo does not obstruct your functionality, right? So if I have built my official product and I don't have a logo on top of it, it is not a critical defect because a functionality is not getting obstructed. So when I have to rate a severity, I talk from the perspective of functionality. What kind of obstruction, what kind of challenges a user will face to complete that action. So in that context, this is a very minor defect. Okay. Okay, Gabe says thank you. Hawk says thanks for the clarification. SM again comes with another question. What are the key elements of a test plan? I think SM, I would suggest to you that you spend some time on my tutorials. Okay, it's not about not answering because these questions have been really answered in my tutorials with more detail, which I cannot cover here. But on a high level, test plan basically talks about all the actions, okay, with all the actions which a team has to perform in order to complete the testing of a product. Okay, now that's a big thing to talk about. I can take alone 1 hour or maybe 2 hours to talk only about test planning, how to do it, what not to do, what are the actions, and how do you do that, etc. But in a nutshell, test plan is an event where you plan and outline the overall testing process. Now, testing process consists of test analysis, test design, test implementation, test execution, and test completion. Correct? Now, what are these activities? You can find out in my tutorials. Second, you also define the objective, timeline, schedule for all of these events. Who will be doing it? What are the resources required? How much automation will you do? What is the entry criteria? What is exit criteria for this my entire test process? What are the test levels we are going to conduct? What kind of techniques will be helpful? Defining an overall approach for testing, which is strategy. Again, we have different types of strategy. So if you look together, right? If you look together, there are a lot of such things which you would understand as a part of the test planning. So all these activities or all these tasks are basically conducted as a part of test planning or defining them. Like timeline, schedule, approach, objective, entry criteria, exit criteria. If there's a scope of automation, how will you do that? What are the tools required for it? Does your team already know the tool? If not, what is the training required for it? Right? Similarly, if you have to, of course, you have to monitor the ongoing progress. What kind of matrices will be required? So there are a lot of those things which can be considered as a part of what is test plan, or what are the key elements of test plan. I hope that gives you an understanding. But of course, the deep dive is available in my test manager discussion. So you can have a look there also if you really want a very, very detailed response that I would love to answer. Okay. SM says, yes, sir, I've watched all, just wanted a brush up. Sure, sir. That's the reason I answered it. Okay. I'm not saying no to it. I always love to answer, but I thought if there are more details required, then I just told you that I have a video on dedicated on test planning, and that would give you more details if you really want to. Okay, let's hear from Hug. Hug says, which ISTQB advanced certification is beneficial and versus specialist versus agile? Again, there is no comparison between these certifications, Hug. Number one thing is that they are all different to each other. Okay. Ah, for someone who is doing general QA automation, I think you can take up the specialist TAE, okay, which would be something good for you. And parallelly, if you have around 4 to 5 years of experience, you can look forward to take up test analyst. Now, let me tell you the difference between these two. Number one, test automation engineer will guide you through the automation part. So you can showcase that you're a certified automation tester, but it will not be from a perspective of tool. It will be from the concept that what does it take to automate something within an organization for a particular product. But you will not be learning any automation tool there. You don't be learning any kind of scripting there. Okay. So in that context, we say that the TAE automation tester, if you are an automation tester, QA, general automation tester, then you can look forward to take a certified automation tester, right? Second, I would recommend you to go with test analyst. Okay. Test analyst is a role specific certification that leads you to promote yourself to the lead position. So at any point of time, if people may look forward to make somebody as lead, then they will look forward to have this credential to be justifying that yes, this person knows what exactly to manage things within the team, but not a manager kind of thing, but within a team you can be a leader as you can drive few things yourself. Okay. So I would strongly recommend you two things here: test automation engineer, CTTAE, and CTLTA, which is test analyst. So these are the two certification which you can look forward to at the advanced level for now. And after that, you have path for test manager also. Okay, you can take up test manager down the line after 7 to 8 years of experience, because till then you will understand what is management. Okay, I hope that answers your question. And team, if you're happy with what I'm doing right now, do not forget to drop a thumbs up. I'll be really happy to see that going up, because we want YouTube to let people know across the world that we are doing a free service to answer people's question. And do help me with this. I never ask people or call out here for subscription, subscribing my channel, liking other things, or my general videos. Only in the on the live session, I ask them. The reason is I want you to let people know about it, that if they have questions, this is the place where they can come and ask it. Because till now, I've not found any channel which is related to testing that they have the courtesy to come online and look forward to answer live things. Okay. That's the reason sometimes I feel that they might be just doing their job, but they are not a community people, because a community person always looks forward to promote the community and support the community. So I hardly see anyone, in fact I don't see anyone on this platform that they have little bit of commitment that they can come online and answer questions to their people. And in fact, I have visited few of the channels of the legendary uh, test related creators on YouTube. They don't even have time to respond back to the comments. So I want you to let people know that if they have any concerns about testing, they want to know more about what exactly the queries related to certification or career as a QA, this is the platform. Every Saturday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we connect together. We look forward to assist you, look forward to respond back to you and guide you well. So feel free to let your friends know, let your colleagues know. And by liking, you're just helping YouTube to know that this session is very, very, important and people are loving it. Right. So on that note, as per their algorithm, they promote this live session to many people. And through that, they come to know that there is a live session happening every Saturday. Thank you so much for dropping your likes there. Okay, let's look forward to the next one. SM says, how do you maintain test data? There's nothing called as maintenance of test data. Basically, it is all about preparing the test data. So generally, when you prepare the data, there are two different things to understand about it. Either you can acquire data from customer or you can prepare data yourself. That means you can have a dedicated team for preparing the generic set of data, what is required to test an application. Again, data is very, very precise and unique to the application or type of domain you are trying to test. For example, aviation will have different set of data, banking will have a different set of data, e-commerce will have a different set of data, or general applications like create an account, addresses, pin code will have a specific set of data, which is country specific, phone numbers, right? All these things, what a team does is called as data preparation team. So you need to kind of like understand that, like how exactly the data will be created, and in that context the test data will be created and stored in the repository for any future use. So we only look forward to maintain a data if application transforms. Okay, it changes over, which does not happen generally. Okay, very rarely an application fundamental things will change. They keep adding more features, but they don't remove the base. Okay, the product remains exactly the same. So there's nothing called as maintaining the test data. You just prepare and store the data for later reuse. Okay, now what next? How to give the test estimation time for a task? Like what are the key factors should we consider? There's nothing specific. First of all, when you're talking about estimating a task for the testing, then most important is the complications, which is complexity of that functionality to be tested. That determines how long will you take it. And second is the risk factor. Okay, if there is any risk associated, then you will of course be writing more test cases or doing more testing compared to a non-risk functionality. Correct. So two things, complexity and risk is what we consider. And of course knowledge and all varies from user to user, so that does not really make a concern or factor to decide the effort. And moreover, we say that it is 30% of development effort. Okay, but not to rely on that. In general, I'm telling you, we talk about the complexity and we talk about the risk associated. If risk is high, we do more testing. If risk is low, we do less testing compared to the high risk area. And beyond that, if there are no risk, we do further less testing in these areas. So that's how your efforts are calculated based on that. But again, this is a very, very kind of generic. As you start working, you will automatically start, you will be able to judge that how exactly the effort can be defined for a new item. Okay. Zai says, sir, a random question. How to deal with a situational thing as a QA? Like if your team member missed a bug, company wants you to do late sitting very often, etc. Situational thing, if you missed a bug and company wants you to do late sitting very often, I'm not sure what exactly to do. I think being a dedicated tester, you have a commitment first of all, right? And if you have identified that you missed a bug and you have to do retesting or something, then I think the time is not a factor there. Whatever it takes, you have to do it, because I would rather say in a other way around that probably you had fun earlier, so you're sitting late. Or okay, the company is trying to make you sit late, because if you would have found that defect earlier itself when you were doing the regular testing, then you don't have to sit back again for late nights and all that. So my concern or my observation here would be that find out first of all that why did you miss that bug, right? Was that a test case? Was that a misunderstanding of the requirement, or whatever it takes, right? As and when you analyze it, every time you miss a bug, that becomes a knowledge for you for next time. Correct. And in that context, next time you will not miss such bugs. You will be already having that in your mind that I have to test even this scenario because last time I remember I missed a bug, or at least from the reason you will come to know why did you miss the bug and you can prepare for that accordingly. For example, if the reason is misunderstanding the requirement, next time you will drill it down. You will have a good conversation on top of it to make sure that I understand what is the ask, what is the requirement, what the customer wants. Correct? So one way I would say you how to avoid it, how to reduce it, like working double or working extra to do something which you could have done earlier, is first of all find out the root cause that why did you miss it out, right? And if you have the reason with you, then of course fix it right from the next time. But sitting late could be due to overcommitments also. Sometimes daytime you don't have anything to do, and then the things comes in the late evening, so you may have to stretch, and that's what you call it as corporate world. There are no answers to that. Okay, people, I as a manager have to work 14 to 15 hours a day on my project, where I just seriously saying I fill my timesheets for 8 hours, and everyone knows that you cannot log more than 8 hours on the billing. But literally speaking, we work 10 to 14 hours a day just to make sure that everything is in place. So point is, there is no direct answer to this. Point is how well you can reduce your effort, of course, by learning it better. Okay, I hope that satisfies you. If there's anything else, just let me know. Mayur says, I have done CTFL, gonna appear for PSM1 this month. Okay, and ISTQB test manager next month. Very good. After that, how can I approach learning automation testing? Where should I start? I'm based in Europe. So, learning automation testing, again, see, I don't recommend you a Udemy course or something because I generally don't prefer in that sense, like learning tools should be with the interaction of the instructor. So, again, I'm not sure uh, what your suggestion on my statement will be or your take will be. I've heard from many of my participants from there that they took some classroom sessions and it did not work out well. In fact, the instructors are just kind of like reading some content and all that. So I would recommend you take a classroom session only, not a Udemy course, because Udemy course will be furthermore like you don't have anyone to ask questions, right? So in that context, if you're learning automation tool, it should be live in the sense you're doing it yourself and you have a person who can tell you where you went wrong, what to do in the right way. Correct? So find out a classroom session first of all, get onto an institute and take a demo. More important is that because in the Western culture or in the Western part of our world, we have seen that every individual thinks just because he has worked on the tool, he thinks he's an instructor. And that comes back to me when people come and share that, hey, you taught us really very well. Okay. And in that context, I learned it better than what somebody taught me in my country. So point here is I'm not discriminating between the people of the countries. What I'm trying to tell you here is learn from a professional instructor who knows how exactly to transform you into an automation tester. Take a demo. Okay. Again, I'm not saying you don't have good instructors in Europe or you don't have good instructors in USA. You have it. It's just that you don't take a demo and you blindly get into a session. So I would suggest the best way to learn would be to go to a classroom session first of all, like instructor led session, not a online or kind of like offline video driven sessions and all. Yeah, you can learn the fundamentals to get started. If you think you're understanding, good. If you're not understanding, anyways you have to get into the classroom session. But take a demo first, judge your instructor whether you are able to understand him or not. Sometimes he is or she is trying to explain you good, but that does not make sense to you, right? So in that context you need a trainer which fits your purpose, and there are varieties of trainers including me, right? Even I don't fit some places because they say, yeah, you are too advanced. Okay, you're too professional. We want someone who can tackle these guys, so we don't do it. Point. So in that context, this is what I will suggest you. You can go ahead and take up a classroom session. You also said for now I'm just a FQA lead in gaming industry. Okay, not a problem. Looking to go into automation testing as it has almost 3 times salary on same role. That's true. I've moved from manual gaming testing to software automation. Yes, that's absolutely good. There's no harm in that, and there's no restrictions on that. So it's a very good decision, I must tell you, because it's already high time for you that you should have moved to automation, I think, a bit earlier. But it's time. You don't have to spend your lifetime, your entire career into gaming with nominal, where you can claim more. Okay, so all the very best, Mayur, and do let me know if you have anything else. Okay, and Huck had a question for you. I think he's also from Europe, and he's just asking you, where are you based out of? SM says, can you tell us about an interesting bug you found and how you went through troubleshooting the issue? Oh, now that's something very complicated. There are a hell lot of stories, and I I don't think I have anything to share here. That's gonna be kind of like big list which I have, and a simple example would not make any sense because this question is very typical. Tell me about an interesting bug. I think for me everything was interesting. There was no disrespecting bugs at all. And how you went about troubleshooting the issue? I'm not a developer. Okay, so I never troubleshooted the issue till date. So it was my developer who did that. So, anyways, that's how it goes. And Zayed, if you're still here, I always wonder and just saw that right now also. Why do you delete your messages after getting them answered? Any specific reason? I was just curious to ask. Sorry if you mind that, but I was just interested to know. And you do it in all my live sessions. After you get your question answered, you delete that. You don't want your traces in the live session? Or is it like somebody is monitoring you or what? What exactly makes you delete your question after it is answered? Anything specific? I'm just curious to know why would someone delete their comment after getting answered? It could be helpful to many other people, right? So I'm just curious. Let me know if you have anything to share. I observed in some of my previous sessions also you delete that, but I did not have time to ask you. But today I just saw that right now happening. Something just disappeared, and I saw it was you again. So do feel free if you have anything to share. We would love to hear about that. Okay, Mayur says, thanks for your suggestion. We'll look into demo classroom sessions. Very good. Take a demo of several instructors and see who can really make you understand about the tool, because you're going to have a lot of questions. And if the instructor is not ready to answer and probably like they don't know or they cannot tackle your questions, then it will be really a bad experience for sure. So don't take a chance with huge investments that to Europe. Pound is expensive. So so take your call. It's your money, and get the right instructor to do that. SM says, talking about bug, like Zad said, suppose you find a bug in production, how would you make sure that the same bug is not introduced again? First of all, if you got bug in production, that's the very worst thing which can happen. And I don't remember what Zayad asked. Okay, so you can better ask him, because I'm answering very distinct questions one after the other. And Zayad has deleted his comment. So please ask Zayad to repeat it. Anyways, when talking about a generic thing, again, what Zayad asked, I don't remember. But if you find a bug in production, first off, that's the biggest nightmare for you, that you missed it out and it went till the production. So kind of very bad remark for a QA, that you had three environments to find out and you still could not find out. So nothing about that. Second thing is, how do would you make sure that the same bug is not introduced again? Same thing. That is learning from your own mistakes. If you have understood why did you miss it, right? What was the reason behind it that it slipped from your interaction, then that's it. That is the main point, that you need to first find out where did you go wrong. Was that a misunderstanding? Was that a defect? Sorry, was that a feature? Or was that something your negligence? You did not bother to test it. You did not have a test case particularly for that, because you thought this generally works. So your perception was wrong. So every single bug teaches you a lesson, right? And it's up to you whether you want to take up that lesson and apply back right from the next project or no. If you apply back, that's how you prevent it from being introduced in the next project or next time. Okay, very straightforward. You learn from your own mistakes and try to prevent it. Okay, I hope that answers your question, SM. And team, we got another 5 minutes. I've been talking for exactly 55 minutes now, and it's really wonderful. But we got 5 minutes more, and I want you to give the last few minutes to go ahead and raise your concerns if you have any, and we would love to answer that, and we'll be then winding it up for the day. See, this is what I like about my session. If I'm here for 60 minutes, then I should not have silence in this session, at least from my side. You people are anyways dropping chats, but for me, I should continuously talk for 16 minutes and I should not stop there. If I'm stopping, I think there are no people to ask questions, or there are no questions. So, which is something boring for me, to be frank, on this live session. This live session has several things to be asked, and I keep look forward to keep talking for the next 60 minutes so that I can answer the people with more and more things and as much as possible. So it's your job to make me keep talking without leaving a gap, and back to back, go ahead with your questions and look forward to get them resolved is what all we expect in this session. And thank you so much for dropping your likes. If you got something, if you're happy with the service, what we are doing through this live session, you're happy with our responses, do not forget to drop a like. We want the YouTube to know that, hey, they should promote this live session and they should let other people know that they can come here and ask their questions. SM says, what do I do when a developer denies a bug? Okay, that's a very tricky thing to deal with. First of all, the bug generally today in this era, that used to happen like 10 years ago. If you tell me this, I understand. If a developer is denying a bug, there'll be also a justification. It's just not a statement, SM, right? So developer doesn't just get up in the morning and say that, you know what, I'm denying this bug. I have all authority to ask him with a courtesy, please justify the reason for rejection. Of course, the developer will give you a reason for sure. There is no unprofessional people in the world today who doesn't have minimum courtesy of telling you why are they doing that, right? So based on the justification, and the answer depends on that. If the justification says that the bug was invalid or bug did not have complete information, then you are the culprit. Okay, then you are the culprit. Of course, you could have provided him all the details which led him to rejection, right? So point is, find out what the justification is. In case he says this is not a defect, it's working fine for me, then sit down with him, show him what is happening on your machine and what is not happening on his machine. So there is a way to tackle that. So there are only two options. Either the defect got rejected because you did not provide all the details and he did not understand it. Second, you provided all the details, but for him it is not reproducible. So you have to give him the right guidance to help him reproduce the bug or understand about the bug. Probably you can bring him on your screen or do a screen sharing and let him understand what are you talking about, so that he can, understand that context, that concept, and look forward to resolve it. Many times it happens. You might be, testing a different version which he is working on. So in that context, your version is having defect, but what version he's working on, the defect does not exist. So in that context, what happens? The defect got fixed accidentally. So you have to come and show him that, hey, in the previous version, there was a bug which really did not work out well. Okay. How do you approach testing in agile environment? And how do you handle changes to requirement or scope during a sprint? That's a very long question, SM. Uh, I don't think I have enough time to answer that right now, because you are asking me something which I do in 8 hours of time. Okay, so this is not a crash question. So I would kind of like excuse this question, because how do you approach testing in an agile environment is a very, very long thing to understand. So for this, I would strongly recommend you that this is not brush up. This is about understanding. So this is not a brush up question. Let me tell you that, if in case you meant so, you have to go through the agile development playlist where we have discussed in, I think, 12 hours of tutorial that what is the answer to this question. How do you approach testing in an agile environment, and how do you handle changes to the requirement or scope during a sprint? Okay, again, there's no point giving you the one liners, right? It has to be justified, and I don't believe in giving one liners. I always look forward to justify my answers. because one liners can be done by a Udemy course also. Okay, or Google as well. If you really want one liners, then even you can just quickly search on Google and you'll get everything what you need. But if you, I don't do that. I believe in giving proper justification which makes everyone understand. And this is really a long thing, and I don't have enough time right now to respond back to that. Okay, so feel free to step into my Agile Tester certification course, and course in the sense like playlist on my channel, and that would answer this question very, very detailed. Yeah, you have a 12 hours whooping content which will fulfill all your needs about this understanding. Thank you so much for understanding and supporting. I really love that support from any audience who thinks, hey, this guy did not answer my question. I think this is the first time I'm passing a question because that did not really uh, meet the timelines. Especially, this is not something which we can answer in bullet points. It takes a complete explanation altogether. Anyways, so team, it is already an hour of our live session. I would like to thank every individual who participated in here and asked their questions to make this session successful. Of course, this session is incomplete without your participation and your questions. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for asking your question. Thank you so much for making this successful. And we love to have these sessions every week to support you as much as possible. Feel free to be a part of it anytime. In case you do not have questions, at least participate to gain knowledge, because there are a lot of conversations which happen here, and we look forward to share knowledge through these questions at least. Right? So that's all. As usual, what I say is that's all from this particular live session, team. Should you have anything else, feel free to comment below. I'm always there to address your queries and answer them well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep understanding the context. Thanks for being a part of this live session, team, and happy learning. Take care, stay safe. See you next weekend. Bye bye.